Hello, everyone, and welcome to Practical Balance. My name is Jen Westlake from Soululaire.com, and I am with my friend Janice Whiting from Lifted Spirits. Hey, Janice, how's it going?
Fabulous. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm doing
Good.
good. Thank you for asking. How's everything in New Mexico?
Hot. It's been like 102, 103, up to 105, which is kind of why I'm not all super, super fancy. And I got my hair out kind of off my neck. Lots of water bowls outside for critters and trying to stay pretty cool in here. I got a fan above me. So if you see a spinning sensation, that be the fan blowing on me to cool me off.
Nice, nice. Yeah, we're not that hot here in Utah yet, but we're starting to get there, you know.
Yesterday, or the other day when I had done some laundry, and instead of throwing them in the dryer to heat up the house, I hung them out on a little line outside. And by the time I got to the end of hanging something up, the first ones were almost dry in
Wow.
103 heat. So it was like, put them up, wait 10 minutes, take them down. They were dry before I could get the next load done.
Wow, that's faster than the dryer could have done it.
I know, and saved electricity, and it didn't heat up my house. And yeah,
That's
and they smell so good and fresh because down here, um, we don't have smog. I mean, it's
oh,
just bright, clear sky during the day, other than maybe clouds, and at night you can see like all the stars at night. But it's not
oh,
really cool enough at night now. So
yeah.
I
That
think it's
sounds
supposed to
really
be
nice.
that way for a couple weeks. So
Yeah. Okay. That sounds really good. Um, so hey, speaking of New Mexico, your one of your neighboring states here, Nevada, had something very interesting happen that I've had a lot of people ask me questions about. Did you hear about, I think it was Las Vegas, um, that 911 phone call about where people think that they saw an alien ship with some aliens looking at them? Did you hear about that?
I did. I did. I saw the article and I listened to the 911 call.
Yeah, I did too. Those people sounded literally serious and scared that they really saw something. What
Hmm.
what do you think? What and I'm interested to find out what spirit has to say about that because there's also been some news swirling around that we could have a fake alien invasion, that the black hats are losing control and that they're throwing all their cards on the table. And maybe one of the last cards they have is using this advanced holographic technology to simulate an alien invasion. So, first question, what does Spirit have to say about what those people saw in Las Vegas? And then, second question, is there going to be a fake alien invasion?
Well, first of all, they thought that event was um, not of Earth, meaning they don't think it was being similar to us. They think it was what they would call the grays, and there's different species of those, and their role, they say, is monitoring this earth so that things don't happen that aren't supposed to happen, and they can make some things happen that are supposed to happen. So I imagine there was some odd energetic or dimensional problem or shift that they did come into earth or space, the atmosphere, and then um, sort of accidentally landed on Earth. And
Mhm.
I do believe it was the tall species of the grays. And they have no intention of hurting humans. That's not their role. Actually, their role is to babysit Earth from that further out. I'm not going to call it a dimension. It's just more towards the end of Earth's auric space, which we call our atmosphere. And but they weren't supposed to land. I don't think it damaged their ship, and it didn't damage the people. And I don't think it took them too long to get back to their ship, whoever came out. And then they reoriented themselves and left again. And they say well, I believe that's why they didn't stay long. They're very advanced and very multidimensional. So do I think that situation was faked? No. Do I think many ships have been sighted around the Earth by humans, as they've seen groups of them, or even like one or two of them? Yes, they are our babysitters. And so, yeah, they don't per se feel like,
I don't know if people are going to like the idea of the gray aliens being our babysitters. I think they'd rather like benevolent angels being the babysitter.
well, they're more almost, they would make the perfect babysitters. They were somewhat easy to create. They have living tissue, but have you ever read that book? I forgot her name. She was a nurse, maybe around Area 51, when those ships with the small grays crashed. And you ever read that? No, it's great.
No, I have. I don't know if most of our followers
And
read that,
and
but
they
I
were
have.
the exact same kind. And it's really, they are the best babysitters. Humans ought to be one with that. The benevolent ones that will eventually come to Earth, the benevolent ones that we are related to, that are family to us, not the grays, the ones that are family from other worlds, because Spirit has told me that Earth was seeded from people from other worlds.
Okay.
So they will eventually come, help Earth through a transformation, and sort of dehumanize humans from all the bullshit they've learned that wasn't true as they played the game of Earth. Politics and you name it. Just such a and that leads me to the other half of the answer. Do I think on this Earth there is a group of world order that would love to create a fake alien attack to be able to scare and control humans? Yes. I haven't heard from Spirit whether they're going to allow that. They may or may not allow it. But that one ship that landed in Vegas, or in Nevada, also, I'm sure that's not even the only time that's happened. Area 51, Las Vegas, I'm sure it's happened in other countries too, where they got in our atmosphere, got a bit disoriented or had an energy problem and landed. And if there wasn't any plane or ship malfunctioned, they could leave again, which is exactly what happened. There was a light imprint on the ground, similar, I'm not going to say similar to a crop. What do they call those? Crop circles, similar to those. Just a slight imprint, but that's only from its energy and forcefulness as it then went back up into the higher realms of Earth's atmosphere. And I've chatted with Spirit. We've talked about how can they pick up humans? Can they pick up animals? How can they move around in our dimension and pick up people and do that? Spirit and I have talked about that. So I do know that the world is getting ready to have its benevolent beings come. I wish soon, but and around the Earth. That's what they say. But I also see the attitude of patronizing world leaders, if you can call them that, at this moment. And they would, if they thought it benefited their agenda, create a fake scenario to scare and control people.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that that has been in the works, and that is a card that they are, thinking about playing, is that fake alien card. But
I
it
think it's
hasn't
been in the
happened
works. I think they've tried it. I think it's been in the work. I think they've tried it. I think the babysitters have stopped it. I think there's been a lot of nuclear stuff that was planned, and those babysitters stopped it.
yet. Mm-hmm,
I think um, I think for a long time they've been trying stuff, and they should realize that they're not going to be allowed to control and destroy this earth and to have the agenda like they would have.
mm-hmm.
And so
Do you think that that some of the benevolent star families, galactic family, higher dimensionals, do you think that some of them are already here working behind the scenes, enacting, helping bring about the plan to liberate humanity and the earth from these black hats and dark forces?
I agree. I think they are above the earth, on the earth, and even in the earth. There's been stories of people who have worked, traditional humans have worked creating bases. The government has bases underground. And I do think even in some of those are per se aliens from other worlds. But there are so many. When you leave this earth, there's so many dimensions, there's so many levels of beings. There's benevolent, there's not benevolent. And
Mm-hmm,
so many humans have become aware of the names of those, how they have interfered with the game of Earth for a long time,
mm-hmm,
and assisted with disease and you name it, catastrophes.
mm-hmm,
But from what I've heard from spirit, and it never happens as soon as I want,
mm-hmm,
that will be stopped in the future. I do think they have tried to do alien, fake alien stuff, fake many things.
mm-hmm,
But the babysitters have stopped it. You can't trust them, even though a few of them have landed on Earth and confused people and
mm-hmm,
caused a bit of chaos. But I've heard people say, "Oh, the government always says that that didn't happen," and I
mm-hmm,
say, "Well, tell me a time ever they would say true if it was true." And many times that have happened that were true. Tell me one time that the government would say it's true. You can't
right,
negate it just because the government says, "Oh, that didn't happen." In
yeah,
fact, even if that family that was out working on their truck, not even out there sky watching and hoping to
mm-hmm,
see aliens,
yeah,
just working on their truck, that probably within a length of time, they're going to be told not to say anything or paid to not say anything.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah,
The 911 call was a spontaneous, uncontrolled moment. But
uh,
I guarantee that they've had government visitors who have said, "We don't want you to discuss this," or "We'll make your life very challenging," or maybe they pay them if some families are in need of more abundance. So,
mm-hmm,
but if people say, "Well, it didn't happen because the government said it didn't happen," um, our government lies all the time. Even
yeah,
when I worked for them, I saw that they lied all the time.
right,
So,
right. I
mhm.
also notice, that I'm also wondering if they're prepping us for a scare event of an alien invasion, because you're actually hearing some serious news stories about UFOs on the mainstream media
Mhm.
now. And so is that just kind of some predictive programming to kind of set the stage for the fake alien invasion?
Well, I think movies have set the stage for real visitations and fake ones. Movies have done that.
Yeah,
And um, more than just as much as they are somewhat for entertainment, but they've done
mhm,
that for both.
yeah.
And and both have happened. Well,
But usually the mainstream media, like the news, always kind of mocks and laughs at
they do.
UFO
Mhm.
stories. But now for them to come out with like a serious story about it, then I'm like thinking, huh, okay, why are they doing that? What are they
Well, I think there
preparing us
have been
for
some
with that?
serious stories. There's been some from pilots that have seen them. I mean, those ships are technology and science.
Yeah.
Those beings on it, the grays, are as much semi-living. They're like artificial intelligence, and they're connected to the benevolent beings, and they know a lot of data. I won't say information, we'll say data. And they are not what I call our family and our benevolent beings. They are a high level of artificial intelligence. Um,
Okay.
and Humans, since they don't know the vastness of the beings on the universe, that
Mm-hmm.
I have had the opportunity of having Spirit explain some to me, that the Greys would be the best babysitters because um, they're scientific. They do what they're told. They're not going to say, I'm going to protect humans and then attack them. So really, to me, that level of artificial intelligence is um, the best babysitters. I mean, we've seen the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. What's it called? Where he comes back from a different time for Sarah Connor. I
Oh,
forget the name.
Terminator?
Terminator. Yeah. I mean, he is a version of artificial intelligence per se. And he did in the first couple of shows, he was the bad guy. Then I guess it was reprogrammed or whatever. And that
Mm-hmm.
last one, he was the good guy. But really, it's artificial intelligence, which
Okay.
humans aren't that. I would say humans aren't that advanced in, but I actually think they are becoming more advanced in that area, whether
Mm-hmm.
they're reverse engineering things they've found left on Earth from other from technology that fell to Earth. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure they that Area 51 when that ship crashed in what 52, 53, 54, something
47.
like 57
47.
or 47,
Uh-huh.
that they tried to reverse um, engineer some of that technology.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
even if they stashed it, because they couldn't, they're getting to the level that now they could.
Uh-huh.
That's why I do believe in the future there'll be, and not too long, there'll be healing beds. I mean, there's a lot of technology that
Mm-hmm.
is way too advanced for Earth at the moment, that is
Uh-huh.
just sitting out there waiting to be used. And artificial intelligence and the Greys are pretty much another advanced artificial intelligence. Um, they even know how to turn themselves off when they want to, as we learned in
Mm-hmm.
that
I
from
think
Area
that
51,
concept
the
of
nurse.
I think that concept of having artificial intelligence be our babysitter, where does source fit in all that?
Well, they would be above it. It's almost like whether it be politics or pyramid businesses or um, the one on top usually is not the one who is just
Mhm. Yeah,
hands on, the
exactly.
babysitter.
Right. Okay.
that and so getting probably instructed from the top, but the ones further down there, more hands-on.
Okay.
They would be the babysitters.
Okay. Well, that is very interesting. I hadn't heard that before. I kind of personally haven't ever had an experience with a gray. I've only had experiences with beings of light when I've had my spiritual experiences. And, I haven't ever felt like I was being babysat by a gray.
Well, I
That's
don't
my
think
personal
that
experience.
I doubt it's a personal babysitter. You know what I'm saying? They're not saying, oh, which grade babysits Jen?
Uh-huh.
You have spiritual guides for that.
Well, that's what I was thinking. So,
And your role in navigating and changing this earth isn't probably as large as maybe a general's, right?
mhm.
So really, um, the babysitters monitor the big things.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, it just is really interesting. I just hadn't ever heard of the Greys being called the babysitters before. In fact, most people I think would be nervous about the Greys. I think many
But
people.
how would they know? Why would they be nervous? That
I
what?
think
They're told what?
I think that just from like movies
Movies?
and what alleged whistleblowers out there, that the Greys have a negative connotation. They seem kind of scary. They seem like they're part of the
It all
black
seems.
hats and not the
I
white
think
hats or
it's
the benevolence.
yeah. It all seems scary when it's not understood.
Exactly.
It all seems scary when it's not understood. Um, but that's probably almost everything.
Yeah. Well, and so much has been kept from us, and I'm really looking forward to when there's going to be a lot more disclosure about what's going on and how things really do work.
I
And
think if people should want to be scared, they ought to be scared about the direction that our Earth is going as we speak. Now that should be scary.
well, I
The
think people are
homelessness, the
scared.
prices rising, the political games. Now that should be scary. To have to put your life in their hands.
Right. And I do think people are waking up and they are scared. But again, we don't want people to be scared. We want people to, step into faith and start, connecting with spirit and have a personal relationship, with their higher power. And so that they
That's
can.
a personal dynamics and a personal choice and a personal growth. And that's
Mhm.
probably why a lot of this, that spirit that we just sit and chat about, why it doesn't seem scary to me, because I've been coached as to the real dynamics of it. Whereas humans who go maybe to the movies.
Mhm.
I mean, for example, an example is years ago, um, people saw the movie Ghost with
Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore.
right, and Whoopi Goldberg,
Yeah.
right? Wasn't she? And um, now that's a dynamics that actually happens on Earth. Now
Mhm.
I don't think that's scary because I've seen and talked to spirit for like ever, but it doesn't seem scary to me. But how many people on Earth do you think would say, "Oh, that's scary"?
Um, I think that less
Most.
people would call that scary versus having grays show up on your doorstep.
I'm thinking based on somebody's religion, and what are the odds? I'm sure. I mean, like I can tell you that if that would have happened, landed in my yard, I certainly would have been surprised. But having been able to see and talk to spirit and be coached by him, and
Mhm.
having had the opportunity to see the grays myself,
Okay.
that 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 wouldn't have scared me because I have had them in my house in 1987.
Oh
Yeah,
wow. Yeah.
1987. They were in my bedroom. I
Oh
went in
my.
my bedroom and they were standing in my bedroom, and I and I oddly didn't get a fear sense. And I remember them, there was three, two short and a tall, saying, we want to talk. And I said, I don't want to. I said, I'm tired. It's been a long day. I had three kids. I worked. It was a long day. I said, no, I don't want to talk. And they kept saying, we want to talk. And I said, I don't want to talk. So then I had about an 8 or 9-year-old daughter climb into bed with me, and which often she did because I wasn't married at the time. And she climbed into bed, decided she wanted to sleep in bed with me. And again, they said they wanted to talk, and I said no. And then she sat up and she started talking for them. And I got mad, and I said to them, and then she laid back down. And then I said to them, do not ever connect with my children again without my permission. And they said, well, we want to talk. And I said, talk if you want, but I'm going to bed. So I remember pulling up the covers, going to sleep. Now and then I would kind of come out of sleep. You know, you ever like come out of sleep and you're slightly aware what's going on around you, but you don't all wake up and then you go back to sleep? I think I woke up and I remember like, they're still talking. And then I was like, whatever, went back to sleep. Then later I woke up, had to go pee, walking into the bathroom thinking, oh, they're still talking. And then I went back to bed and went back to sleep. And sometime the next day they left. But I can tell you they didn't seem scary.
Now,
You know, I don't remember talking about how they got there.
Were they there physically, Janice?
Oh, yeah. Like, you could,
and your
I
daughter
could see them. I could see them. I don't know. She's 9. She's self-absorbed. She just wanted to climb into bed. And she was tired. So, but she doesn't remember waking up and them talking through her. And what they were saying, what they were asking was they were asking things about humans. They wanted to know about how we dealt with emotions, how we because, and it didn't feel like they were emotional beings. They wanted to know about, you know, feelings that we might have for our children, like affection, and they wanted to know about emotions and affection. And I'm trying to think of all the things they wanted to talk about. And probably if they just stopped in somebody else's bedroom and said, we want to talk, who knows what the people would have done. And or they might have been scared. And I didn't at all feel threatened or scared. To me, it was just bad timing. Like maybe they should have come on a weekend where I didn't have my kids, and maybe then we could have sat and I could have had coffee and answered all their questions.
I find it odd that they didn't honor your request that you didn't want to talk. They could have asked you, you know, when would be a better time for us to talk. So I find that interesting.
You would think. That's why I think that they don't have good emotional conversations even. I think that what an emotion, a human probably would, who has feelings and emotions and etiquette and whatever, you know, would have done that.
Right.
But if you're a non-emotional being, you're just thinking, I want to talk. I want to, they were like, we want to talk. And I was like, and I don't want to. No, we want to talk, but I don't want to. No, we want to talk, but I don't want to. And so I remember that going on for a while. And finally I was like, oh, I'll patronize them. I'm thinking, I'm going to go to sleep and you can talk if you want. That's like, how can we both be happy? So they did.
So
they were telling me about what it was like to dimensional swap. They were telling me that when they pick up humans and they take them, if they stay in Earth auric space, if they stay in our dimension, they can pick them up, whatever, on the ship and then drop them off. But they said they would have to make changes to their body if they were to take them to a different dimension. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It did to me. And I was like, oh, yeah, that explains a lot.
Different
So
dimensions are different frequencies, and they would have to,
adjust the body.
the body in order to be a vibrational match to that different
wherever they were going. Right.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it just I had to make a change just for them to leave our atmosphere,
dimension.
or dimension or whatever, they'd
Right.
have to change the human, and then and so then the human would come back very changed. But normally they'll just pick them up, stay in our dimension, interact however, and drop them off.
So do you believe there are good and bad ETs?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just like there's good and bad humans. there are good and bad ETs. That's why I think I really like the babysitters, because of I like how they are babysitting Earth. And to me it needs it. To me it needs babysitting really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard stories where they have, de-escalated nuclear testing and, dismantled nuclear warheads right on the ships. And, there's a lot of military people that have come forward and talked about things that they have seen, So we all know that
I think that's been forever. And people think, well, why are they so popular now? And I say, I mean, they've been coming down. They've been going back and forth forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Right.
Up shore. Forever. And so if people see them more now, maybe because the vibration of the person being able to see them is open to it. And also that might be what's changed, is people are noticing it, because I know they've been coming back and forth forever. There's been articles and books and stuff, people telling their story. And in my opinion, you can really, if you read someone's story, I mean, like the lady from Area 51, the nurse. Yeah, no way does somebody making that up. Besides, it matched what she said, matched so much of what Spirit had told me, that I was like listening to somebody validate what Spirit has told me then for years. And so but I really think humans need to, my opinion, get past being afraid of it. But I do know that there have been some abductions, and there are people that they have said, oh, my parents went through that, and I went through it, and my kids are going through it. And whether there's a genetic thread or of commitment or contract or something. But I do know that there are and even some of that I think is if they tell the story, it's very non-emotional, other than it's emotional to them and how they felt about the experience, and it's emotional to them what happened to them.
Well, I would think it would be emotional for the human.
Of course, except for when I had the experiences of seeing Spirit, talking to Spirit, or even other experiences that other humans probably would have struggled with. I didn't feel afraid, and I didn't have a fear feeling. I had this is interesting. This is different. This is interesting from what I've maybe experienced.
Yeah.
And and I've never been harmed,
Uh-huh.
and I've never been,
Well,
I mean,
fortunately,
threatened or physically even victimized or tested. Never been tested.
fortunately for you, I mean, you have had that personal relationship ever since you were a child. Most people don't have that, one-on-one coaching that you have had. So I'm really glad that, you're here to share, what you've learned, through all these years of, having those conversations with spirit and kind of
Mhm.
giving us a different understanding and look at how things are and how they have been here on earth. But, people are just now waking up to the things that you have known for a long time. And so, before we close our show today, do you have any words of wisdom that you would like to share with our friends before we say goodbye?
Well, the other side, or we'll call it the benevolent beings who don't live on Earth, where our history has come from, they say they are coming to Earth and that they are going to wake people up and teach them, help them raise their vibration, help them live on Earth the way that other worlds are lived on, and not this earth that they were, not this earth that people would think it's okay to victimize, it's okay to murder, it's okay to steal, it's okay to I mean, define others, make their personal choices for them. Um, they think that is dysfunctional human dynamics, and
Mhm.
their real agenda is to come to Earth to change it to be a better place. And they tell me they are coming. They don't tell me when. And in the journey of watching the transformation with even technology, look at our cell phones, everything with watching the technological transformation and everything. Um, that um, it's a good thing that they do that. It will change almost every aspect of Earth. There'll
Mhm.
be healing beds. There won't be medicines that have bad drugs, and there won't be food that has bad chemicals in it.
Mhm.
So I welcome them, but
Uh-huh.
I do know um, humans don't know what to expect like I do, and so they're afraid. So I would, if anything, I would, if I had a magical M&M that I could give to everybody on Earth, and
Yeah.
I say this often, if I had a magical M&M, humans would embrace it. Um, they would take advantage of the opportunity to then be all they can be and be their, I'm going to call it more Christ-like self. I'm not a religious fanatic, that I do uh, know that beings that are high in vibration are somewhat, you would
I
call
think,
the more Christ-like
yeah, the
like
Christ
self.
consciousness. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
true. So, see, I'm not schooled by traditional religion, but I am schooled by spirit. And so my words might not be the exact ones that humans use, but um, like that nurse in New Mexico that spoke for weeks and weeks, I think, with this alien.
Mhm.
Um, um, it changed her. You can't, when you sat with spirit, talk with spirit, it changes you.
Mhm.
And so you can't go back to who you used to be.
Right.
I can't go back to a person who doesn't see and talk to spirit. I
Right.
mean, that just couldn't be.
Right.
And so, or plays the game of Earth the human way. I just couldn't do that. It couldn't be. Yet I'm here I am on Earth with humans.
Right.
But so my message is the others, they tell me they are coming. And humans, I guess, need to embrace it, accept it, get used to it, because um, it's a good thing. That's what Martha Stewart would say. It's a good thing.
All right, everybody, you heard it here. So there's nothing to fear. And
No, not the human, not the real spiritual
not, not
aliens
the
coming
benevolent,
down. Not
not the
right,
benevolent ones
right, right.
that
Now,
are helping us from behind the
would I
scenes.
trust our government will pull it off that fabulous? No,
Yeah,
I'm sure they'd have an agenda for control and manipulation.
yeah, yeah. Well, we all know about that. So, all right, everybody, that's what we have to say today about, this alien card, and this is a topic that we could talk hours on, I'm sure. But
They almost all are topics we could talk hours on. They are topics that I have sat and just chatted with spirit for hours, like their perspective of justice and fairness. We've
uh-huh.
talked about that for hours. Um, how humans are complicated and spiritual truth is simple. And so once you simplify it and apply it, it makes your life fabulous. We've talked about that for hours.
Hmm.
So yeah, we could talk for hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure, we'll have conversations and we'll kind of break it out in sizable pieces. But anyways, everybody,
Well, like the last one when we talked about transgender. I mean, a simple concept, and yet Spirit had a lot to say.
yeah. And I'm sure that we'll talk about all these topics, even deeper as we move forward. So if you guys have any other questions where we can elaborate more on this topic, please feel free to email us at hello@soululaire.com. And we're so grateful that you joined us for our Practical Balance show for today. And we will look forward to seeing you next time. Janice, thank you so much for your time and
Thank you.
sharing
Thank you
your
for inviting me.
experiences with us.
True. I didn't know we were going to quite go there, but we did.
I know. All right,
that's,
everybody.
that's what happens when you wing it.
I know. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.